I love boxing. I don't want to see Mike Tyson stuck in quicksand. And he showed unbelievable heart, by the way. No one wants to see that happening to Mike Tyson.
We might be able to talk about it. Maybe something I can think about, but it's time that bro start. He got to fight somebody that's a real threat, because we know he can sell. We know all of that, but what he's after is legitimacy. He's trying to legitimize himself.
I mean, I think so, but people just love to hate me. I'm easy to hate, and I intentionally, say things to make people hate me. I play the heel. I feed into that, and that's just what I like to do, and that's what entertainment is. And at the end of the day, I started as a 17-year-old in Los Angeles in the entertainment business.
Boxing pros have given insane ringside reactions to the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Jake Paul secured a unanimous decision victory over Mike Tyson, with scorecards reading 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73. Despite the immense hype, the bout fell flat, turning into a lackluster and laborious spectacle.
Out of the 30 seconds that you saw, I know Jake Paul was.
They got pillows on. They got 14-ounce gloves on. He come out like a raging bull. But after that, he was gassed. But Mike's a legend, and he showed a load of heart, but you just don't need to see it, man.
A lot of people just said, I'm just here to just watch Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I get it. But maybe they haven't watched boxing for 35 years. and I haven't even had a drink. And love the sport more than anything.
Mike's gonna talk the talk. He gonna have a look in his eyes, gonna make you believe, I'm right there with you on that. But man, I hope y'all just enjoy the situation and the fight for what it was. Good undercard, great co-main event. They stole the show. That was really the main event.
Tyson started strong, taking on the role of the early aggressor. However, as the fight progressed, the 58-year-old's energy waned, leaving him unable to mount any significant offense in the later rounds. At 27, Paul managed to connect with several punches, yet none carried the power to topple the former undisputed world heavyweight champion.
And Canelo don't take that fight, which he said he wasn't going to do it, man. You got to fight somebody that's going to give you some clout, whether you win or lose. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
The bout unfolded over 8 rounds of 2 minutes each, with both fighters pacing the ring for a total of 16 minutes, exchanging occasional strikes amid cautious circling. Ultimately, Paul dominated the fight with ease, securing unanimous approval from all 3 judges. However, the match itself fell flat, leaving fans disappointed and hungry for something more compelling. Adding to the somber tone, watching a 58-year-old Tyson grapple with the physical demands of the ring proved to be a heartbreaking sight for many. Many felt the event fell far short of expectations, leaving viewers and celebrities alike questioning the legitimacy of such a matchup and its impact on the sport of boxing. Reactions flooded social media as the world grappled with the reality of watching a 58-year-old Tyson return to the ring against the YouTube sensation turned boxer Jake Paul. Irvin "Magic" Johnson encapsulated the feelings of many with his heartfelt reaction, expressing sorrow at seeing Tyson in such a diminished state. Having been a loyal supporter of Tyson throughout his storied career, Johnson was visibly upset, tweeting that he had to turn the fight off because it was too painful to watch. He lamented how far this performance strayed from the glory days of Tyson's career, calling the fight a poor representation of boxing. He said, "Just sad SMH, I cut it off because I couldn't watch anymore. It's sad to see Mike Tyson like this because I went to every Tyson fight. This fight tonight was not great for boxing." Stephen A. Smith, a respected sports commentator, echoed Johnson's sentiment but shifted part of the focus to Jake Paul. While he expressed gratitude that Tyson didn't get seriously hurt, Smith highlighted the stark reality of age catching up to the legendary boxer. He also pointed out that Jake Paul now needs to step up and face a legitimate boxing contender, emphasizing that Paul's pattern of fighting non-boxers, aging athletes, and influencers must end if he wants to earn real respect in the sport. For Smith, Paul's skills are evident, but his choice of opponents raises serious questions about his ambitions and authenticity as a boxer. He said, "Love Mike Tyson, always have, always will. But 58 is 58. Plus the legs just wasn't there. Old is old. Thank God he didn't get knocked out. Now it's time for Jake Paul to get in the ring with a top 10 fighter, or hell, a champion. No more b-ball players, strikers from MMA, or old men. It's time for Jake to get into a real fight. He's good enough. Make it happen." Fans and celebrities voiced their frustrations through social media, with NFL star J.J. Watt admitting he regretted staying up to watch the fight. Watt's tweet summed up the feelings of countless fans who felt let down by the overhyped event. J.J. Watt tweeted on X saying, "Mad at myself for staying awake for that. I know better. Professional boxer Ryan Garcia was even more blunt, calling the fight pointless and expressing disappointment that such a mismatch had been staged in the first place. He tweeted on X saying, "No point of that fight." These reactions underscored the growing fatigue among audiences who expect more substance from high-profile boxing events. The reactions weren't all somber. Some chose to use humor and sarcasm to convey their displeasure. Sports journalist Dan Woik mocked the booing at the AT&T Stadium, jokingly suggesting it was unrelated to the fight itself. Dan Woik tweeted, "I can't believe people are booing at AT&T Stadium, and Mike McCarthy has nothing to do with it." Brian Fisher took a jab at the venue, suggesting the fight was only the second most disappointing thing to happen there that season. He said, "Tyson Paul was only the second most disappointing thing to take place at Jerry World this fall." Van Lathan Jr., however, was direct in his assessment, calling the fight an embarrassing disaster and expressing regret that he felt compelled to watch it despite his misgivings. Lathan Jr. tweeted on X saying, "An embarrassing disaster of a boring snooze fest. I'm so disappointed that I couldn't not watch. Sincerely." Amid the backlash, there was an overwhelming sense of concern for Tyson's well-being and legacy. Kevin Iole admitted to getting goosebumps watching Tyson's entrance but was uncomfortable witnessing the aging legend take punches. Iole hoped this would be Tyson's final foray into the ring, reflecting a broader sentiment that the fight was unnecessary and potentially harmful. He said, "I got goosebumps seeing Tyson walk out, to be honest, but I hated to see him getting punched. Mike didn't need that. I hope he's done for good." Chris Mannix and Jeff Goodman both reiterated this view, with Goodman bluntly stating that what fans saw in the ring wasn't the Tyson they remembered and revered. Goodman tweeted on X saying, "That wasn't Iron Mike Tyson." Chris Mannix tweeted, "That was exactly how I thought that fight would play out. You were delusional if you thought anything else." The backlash also extended to the organizers and promoters of the event. Many fans and commentators felt that staging this fight was more about exploiting Tyson's name than offering a meaningful sporting event. Mike Francesa didn't mince words, demanding an apology from those who orchestrated the fight, calling it garbage and accusing them of tarnishing the sport. He said, "Anybody who had anything to do with that Tyson-Paul debacle owes the public an apology." What garbage? Even casual fans like Ty Hill expressed their regret, humorously stating that Tyson had convinced them to reactivate their Netflix subscriptions for nothing. He said, "Mike made me get my Netflix account back for nothing." While Tyson's performance drew much of the criticism, Jake Paul didn't escape unscathed. Many observers, including Stephen A. Smith, argued that Paul now has a responsibility to prove himself against credible opponents. Smith urged Paul to move past novelty matchups and step into the ring with ranked fighters or champions, reflecting the growing demand for Paul to validate his boxing career with genuine competition. The fight highlighted the fine line Paul must walk between being an entertainer and a legitimate athlete. Dave Dufour tweeted on X saying, "Both of these guys look 60. The Tyson-Paul fight has reignited debates about the direction of boxing and its balance between spectacle and sport. While some appreciated the entertainment value of such events, the overwhelming response suggests that fans are growing weary of matches that prioritize novelty over authenticity." Tyson's participation, though a nostalgic draw, raised difficult questions about whether boxing should allow legends to step back into the ring under such circumstances. Clarence Hill Jr. tweeted on X saying, "Mike Tyson looking like Pop for real. Paul now has 7 knockouts and an 11, one lifetime record. With one no contest, Tyson's career record is at 57. All 3 judges ruled decisively in Paul's favor, with 2 awarding him a flawless 80-72 victory, while the third gave Tyson a single round, scoring at 79-73. Tyson barely connected with 10 punches throughout the fight and was visibly winded in the later rounds, offering little resistance. By the time the scorecards were read, there was no question about the outcome.
I've been in this sport for 4.5 years and have been so active, doing every event, taking any fight possible. So if people want to see more, or this challenge, or fight this person, whatever it is, my response to them is just give them a couple more months, because I'm going to accomplish more things in just a matter of months, and I plan on doing everything in this sport that there is to be done.
But just to be clear, right, he's fought UFC champions, he's fought boxing legends, and he's fought boxers that someone with his experience should fight, and he's knocked them out in the first round, right? He did that twice in a row before Mike Perry. Like, he was fighting in front of 4,000 people last December in Orlando, knocking the dude out in the first round, but doing what traditional boxers do.
The duo clashed over 8 intense 2-minute rounds, donning 14-ounce gloves instead of the usual 10-ounce. Paul entered the arena first, arriving in style aboard a customized car with his brother Logan by his side. In stark contrast, Tyson followed, striding to the ring solo with his signature intimidating demeanor. Paul faced a chorus of boos, fully embracing his role as the antagonist, while the 75,000-strong crowd roared in unwavering support for Tyson. For Tyson, it marked a significant return to professional boxing, his first such fight since his 2005 loss to Kevin McBride. It was also his first appearance in the ring since his 2020 exhibition clash with Roy Jones Jr. Even before the first punch was thrown, the event made history by shattering records. With over $17.8 million in gate revenue, it claimed the title of the highest-grossing boxing event in U.S. history outside of Las Vegas. Fight week started off slowly, with Tyson appearing strong yet sluggish during Tuesday's open workout. By Wednesday's press conference, he was noticeably reserved, offering little in terms of commentary. But the event burst into life when Tyson slapped Paul at Thursday's final face-off after weighing in. He declared, "Talking's over," while Paul declared he must die. When they stepped into the ring, Tyson wasted no time charging forward with the intent to dominate Paul. However, Paul remained elusive, maintaining his distance with smooth footwork while consistently countering with his jab, seeking to assert control.
But you need a dance partner, and there isn't one as big as Mike Tyson. We're very proud of, I think I can, on behalf of head coach Billy White, Coach Raphael, that we're very proud of Mike's, his determination throughout camp. I mean, we all remember Mike Tyson, especially if you guys are our age. And of course, we've been with Billy for 45 years. You remember him as the killer, the menace, and you get to see the pads and you see, just how amazing he is. And we're very proud of him. But, he is a 58-year-old man that has been in the gym and coming to the gym every single day. And some of us who are up at that age can't even get up and do 20 minutes exercise every day. But this man came day in, day out.
His incredible speed and athleticism stood out, preventing Tyson from getting a solid grip and forcing him to resort to quick, strategic holds whenever he closed the distance. In the third round, Paul increased the tempo, landing several sharp combinations that left Tyson momentarily wobbly. Although Tyson regained his footing and the action slowed in the fourth, Paul dominated the contest by the midway point. In the second half of the fight, Paul appeared to show a hint of sympathy as the intensity waned and Tyson's offense dwindled. The crowd, growing increasingly disillusioned, let out scattered boos, as many in the arena were left let down by a spectacle that, in hindsight, was all too predictable. In the final 10 seconds, the intensity of the fight seemed to fade as Paul acknowledged Tyson with a respectful bow. Tyson, in turn, extended his hand in a gesture of sportsmanship. When the scores were tallied, Paul emerged as the clear victor. Many of you who were cheering for Mike Tyson to deliver a knockout blow to Jake Paul during Friday night's boxing match, one of the more bizarre, drama-free spectacles of this strange decade, likely had one of two motives. The first is, and this is quite understandable, that you think Paul is annoying and that you wanted to watch Tyson hurt the YouTuber. Another part of you, much like myself, constantly longs to relive the feeling of the late 1980s, when Tyson was truly untouchable, the undisputed king of the ring. But let's face it, that's an impossible dream. If you can recall exactly where you were when Tyson obliterated Michael Spinks in just 91 seconds, then chances are you woke up today with a sore back or aching knees and a little voice reminding you to book that colonoscopy. You should check out Dan Wolken's column for more.
Tonight, Mike Tyson broke the records. Mike Tyson made history again. 58 years old, he made history again. Just before we walked out, he whispered in my ear and he said, "I love making history." That's what he's built on. So, yeah, we're a little bit disappointed we didn't get the W. We're a little bit disappointed he didn't knock Jake out. I think everybody of our generation is a little bit disappointed that he didn't stop the YouTube kid. But across the world, we're very proud of Mike, and I know everybody across the globe. He got a phone call from a good friend of his and big supporter, His Excellence Turki Ali Sheikh, just before just when he got into the locker room before he went out, and His Excellence wished him the best and told him how proud of him he was, and gave him a big pep talk also. So he's got love and support everybody all across the world.
Mike Tyson struggled to rise from his corner, sluggish in the middle of the ring, unable to close the distance on Jake Paul. Yet, many observers couldn't help but recognize a familiar habit of the former heavyweight champion. He was once again biting down on his glove. Although this might be a tactic Tyson uses to keep his mouthpiece in place, his post-match response to Ariel Helwani's query is even more entertaining. "I have a biting fixation." Naturally, this alludes to Tyson's notorious ear-biting incident against Evander Holyfield Holyfield in their second fight in 1997. Holyfield must have cringed as everyone laughed. The aftermath of the highly anticipated Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight has sparked a whirlwind of reactions from across the sports world, with celebrities, fighters, and analysts offering their opinions on what they had just witnessed. As expected, Tyson's return to the ring at the age of 58 to face a much younger Jake Paul, who had a reputation for fighting celebrities and non-professional athletes, drew both praise and criticism. The fight, which ended without Tyson being knocked out, prompted many to express their concerns about the authenticity of the match and the ethics of staging such an event. One notable reaction came from Gervonta Davis, the current lightweight champion, who paid tribute to Tyson after the fight. Davis's sentiment was one of respect for the legendary boxer, acknowledging the immense contributions Tyson has made to the sport. Tank said, "You will forever be a legend, whether you like it or not, and it will never be another one. And I understand you so well. All this don't mean nothing." However, he didn't hold back when it came to Jake Paul, blasting the social media star-turned-boxer for taking on an aging Tyson rather than facing legitimate competition. This sentiment was echoed by several other fighters, including Terrence Crawford, who praised Tyson but was critical of his performance, pointing out that it was disheartening to see Tyson, after training so long, throw so few punches. Crawford expressed relief that Tyson didn't get hurt, but made it clear that the matchup was far from a true test of Jake Paul's skills. He tweeted, "I love Mike Tyson, but they're giving him too much credit. He looked like trash to train that long and only throw 97 punches. The whole fight is crazy. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt out there." In contrast, some figures like Tony Bellew voiced a more nuanced reaction. Bellew, known for his frank takes, made it clear that he did not approve of the fight, lamenting the fact that the boxing community was complicit in fueling the spectacle. He stated that fans should not continue to tune into these types of fights, especially when the opponent is a non-boxer or a man well past his prime. He said, "We are all to blame for this man. We are all talking and watching. We have to stop this fool. Don't tune into him until he fights someone who is fit, healthy, and not a grandfather. Any proper boxing people helping Paul need to look at themselves FFS. This is just sad." However, Bellew did praise Jake Paul for showing some restraint during the fight, as he chose not to go for a knockout, thereby allowing Tyson to survive the bout. He said, "I don't like this stupid idiot kid, but I will say this. He stopped beating on Mike there and showed him some respect and dignity by letting him survive. He didn't go for the KO there, he stepped off him and let him be. Mike, we all adore you. King, you're a superhero to all of us from the proper fight business." This rare moment of respect for Tyson came as Bellew acknowledged Tyson's legacy and noted that many in the sport view him as a superhero. But Bellew confronted Logan Paul, saying, "Why be so disrespectful, Logan Paul? I'd kill you. Do these idiots understand what the real Mike Tyson would do to them? He'd beat them so bad they would beg for him to stop. Saying you'd kill a grandfather is tough, isn't it? Mike stays safe." The criticism of the fight was also fueled by comments from public figures outside the boxing world. Piers Morgan, for instance, took to Twitter to express admiration for Tyson's courage, stating that a prime Mike Tyson would have easily defeated Jake Paul in under 90 seconds. He highlighted Tyson's heart and will, praising his determination despite his age and physical limitations. He tweeted, "Prime Mike Tyson would have destroyed Jake Paul in 90 seconds. A 58-year-old Tyson went 8 rounds against a much fitter and very capable boxer half his age. Mock him all you like, but Mike's got the heart of a lion, balls of steel, and will always be an absolute legend." Similarly, other sports commentators were sympathetic towards Tyson but recognized that age had taken its toll. They remarked that Tyson's legs were simply not there, and it was evident that the fight wasn't on par with the level of competition Tyson had faced in his prime. They also urged Jake Paul to step up and challenge more credible opponents, saying it was time for Paul to fight a top 10 contender or even a champion. The financial aspects of the event also caught attention, as the fighters were reportedly set to walk away with substantial earnings. According to reports, Jake Paul earned $40 million for the fight, while Mike Tyson was slated to receive $20 million. This revelation further fueled criticism of the event, with many seeing it as a spectacle driven more by money than by sporting merit. Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, took to Twitter to express his disdain for the event, calling it one of the great cons of the century. He tweeted, "Credit to Jake Paul plus Mike Tyson for pulling off one of the great cons of century. I should have put 10 million on Jake. Not because he's good, but because he fought a senior citizen. I would say everybody involved should be ashamed, but I'd take the money it too if I could." Portnoy acknowledged the financial success of the event, but also pointed out the ethical concerns surrounding it, suggesting that both Tyson and Paul should be ashamed of participating in such a farce. Other personalities like Robert Griffin III and Dana White also weighed in, with Griffin criticizing Jake Paul for taking on a fighter nearing 60, while White emphasized that while Paul is talented, he has yet to face a true test in the ring.
So when you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
White's comments echoed the general consensus that Jake Paul's path to legitimacy in boxing will require him to step up his competition. Many questioned whether Paul, who has made a name for himself by defeating non-boxers and aging stars, would ever face a true professional boxer capable of challenging him.
You just don't see it as a sustainable thing?
He fought Tommy Fury and lost. Where's that rematch? Where's that rematch?
I don't know where it's at. I know he's
loses-
fighting a 57-year-old champ now. What's
58.
58. Don't want to take a year away from you, Mike.
He's fighting a guy that's almost 60 years old. And you know what I mean? I mean, that says it all. That says it all. There's nothing else that needs to be said. That's his shtick. That's his thing. He fights guys that are old, usually undersized guys, older, undersized guys. But he's fighting Tyson here. And him and Tyson are going to make a shitload of money.
A bunch of money.
And good for both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good for both of them. Like I say, Jake Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight anybody.
In the wake of the fight, Tyson, when asked about his future, refused to rule out the possibility of returning to the ring for another bout. However, he joked that he might be open to fighting Jake Paul's brother Logan if the opportunity arose. His reluctance to definitively retire from boxing left the door open for further speculation about his future in the sport, though many, including Tyson's critics, hoped this would be his final outing. Mike Tyson refused to rule out retiring from boxing for good after the Jake Paul defeat, saying, "I don't think so. Maybe I'll fight his brother." The fight's aftermath has only intensified the debate surrounding Jake Paul's boxing career and the ethics of celebrity matchups. While Paul has undoubtedly gained attention for his ventures into the sport, the calls for him to face true competition are growing louder. The spectacle of Tyson versus Paul might have brought in millions in revenue, but for many fans, it was a disappointing reminder that boxing is increasingly being reduced to a platform for entertainment rather than pure athleticism. With figures like Conor McGregor and Canelo Alvarez continuing to taunt Jake Paul, the question remains whether he will ever take the challenge of proving himself against a real boxer or continue with his string of controversial, celebrity-driven fights. Calling out Canelo, Jake said, "Canelo needs me. I'm not even going to call him out. He knows he wants a payday and he knows where the money man's at." So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.